Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King, and today I'm going to be giving you part 14 of What If Naruto was told about the Uzumaki Clan from the beginning. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in social media platform, and also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto was a legendary Uchiha X Namikaze, and enjoyed that guys, and stay tuned for a brand new episode coming over and making 3, and yeah. You heard that correctly, I indeed have 3 channels, and making 2 and making 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Making family, and thank you for all of your help and your support, and yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Start the intro. So the last time we left off, we started with a flashback. Hiruzen did not know that there was other Uzumakis around. If he had known, he wouldn't have bring Naruto to Uzu at all. But now, things have changed. And Hiruzen didn't know what to do as he came to speak to Naruto. As Naruto told him plain and simple that he had no love for this village at all. Absolutely none, zero. Hiruzen had caught him going over space and time ninjutsu. It meant that Naruto knew more than he was letting on. As Hiruzen had to find a way to convince Naruto of staying here. Despite what the villagers had done to him, if he went rogue, things were not going to look good. We then skip back to the real time as Kakashi went to visit Yugito. As she was there back then, as he had to ask her, but she told him that Naruto would never betray this village, he would never outright attack it unless he's provoked to do so. As Kakashi already knew that though. Meanwhile, Snappy and Jiraiya couldn't believe what they heard. As Jiraiya blamed himself because the signs were all there. He just didn't want to see it as he made up his mind that they were not, but they were there. As Natty was pissed off as Naruto had not shown himself, he went to the Sando and he told Gaara that they were still friends. Sasuke came to the office and asked if it was true, as Natty told him yes. Over the past 2 years, Sasuke has been working greatly for the village. But he's been working alone. He didn't share company with anyone. The only person that worried about him a lot was Sakura. The others didn't seem to like him that much. Well, after everything they went through for going after him, they could keep a grudge for a while. Meanwhile, as Kurosaki had sent something to Naruto as he got it, she wished to speak to him at the spot that he first met. She was gonna try and kill him as he simply laughed. Yoshino also laughed as well, as Goron could not understand that. Attempts were being made on his life and yet he was so calm and neutral about it. At Kumo, as Yugito was given a mission to go and kidnap the leader of the Land of Wave, as they found out who the Emperor was, and it was none other than Naruto Uzumaki. She had just came back from a mission, but it wasn't her place to argue with anyone. So, the information arrived towards Uzu rather quickly, as Naruto already created a quick plan to handle this. The Raikage was making a move, it's about time that he do so as well. When C and Yugito arrived, it took 2 days. When they arrived there, she went on, as he stayed behind. He would give her the signal in case they had to flee, while she be the distraction. Her man will kidnap the leader. C found himself completely surrounded by 2 figures who he did not sense, and that should be impossible because C was one of the best sensors of Kumo, and yet he did not even feel them approaching him. As they talked so casually, yet he knew that if he did something he would die, he could feel it. But they told him that they would not intervene. It's up to the Emperor. Yugito arrived on the Great Naruto Bridge with her man. That is when she felt it, something was wrong in the air. It was slightly tense, as she felt the pressure as then they saw him. Naruto Uzumaki. He was not dressed in his battle armor though, as he approached them. So yeah guys, those basically that's what I thought you guys can switch across the place, check out for yourself so to be in this new episode. I was honestly not expecting to see you here, said Yugito. Really? Said Naruto. You're here to attack my nation. Shouldn't I step in to stop the attack from happening, he asked. Well, that was only natural. Even she would step up to take on anyone that was trying to attack Kumo. Even so, I thought that perhaps you might be occupied somewhere else. There is nothing. I'm expecting someone very soon though. So, let's finish this quickly, shall we? Can you be merciful and allow them to leave? I'll be your opponent, she says. She stepped forward. At a time like this, you should be looking forward to escaping while they try and hold me back. After all, you're much more valuable than them, said Naruto. I care for their life more so than I care for my own, she said in a firm tone. How noble, said Naruto. Regardless, you came here prepared for anything. Face up to it, and we will be done soon enough. She frowned. He wasn't going to do as she pleases. It was unfortunate, but there was no way of helping the issue. She didn't have any other choice but to engage him. If that is what you want, then so shall it be, she said. She was shocked when he vanished. She felt something against her back. She was shaking to her core. His back was against hers. Naturally, the Emperor must always get his ways in such situations. His eyes were on the Kumo shinobis that faced him. They had assembled a good team. It would give normal people some trouble, but he was not normal in any way. The Emperor, he was born for war. You can leave if you want, but if you decide to stay, you will definitely die, he said. As a massive killing intent leaked from him, it was so much even Yugito felt uncomfortable. If you guys want to leave, you can leave, she said. He's a Jinjuki. I can handle him. One of them shook his head. We cannot run away from battle. This was not their mission, but the Raikage would be pissed if they left Yugito abandoned. There was war coming soon with the stone. They needed her power. They couldn't lose her right now. She understood. She would love for them to leave, but she also knew their other missions were taking place. Yet, with everything happening, she could not afford to get captured. This is gonna be dangerous, but I won't take it easy on you, not in the slightest, as she leaped. She transformed mid-air as her massive form crashed down on the bridge and shook it. As Naruto looked at her and shook his head, he could not fight her here. The bridge would only get destroyed. It would be irresponsible for him to destroy this vital piece of structure for the wave and for Ozu. He could not make her go on a rampage. He held out his right hand as Naruhiro appeared right behind her, adamantine, choker sealing chains. As the chains burst from his body and wrapped around her quickly, she cursed as the bonds were too tight. She could not get free once they held on to her. She tried to struggle to break free, but the chains, they weren't budging not even one bit. She felt herself losing power. As the chains suppressed the choker, she cursed silently. Was it that easy to deal with her? Those chains, and she was done already. As she fell to the ground, the chains still binding her. It was ridiculous to think that only one person could come behind her and subdue her so quickly. As she struggled with her binds, she glared at the man holding her down. He merely smiled in an apologetic way. I would not have preferred to end things this way, but if the place was right, the Majesty would have fought you. She forgot that she was on the bridge, and it would make sense that you wouldn't want this bridge to get destroyed. You seem rather kind, she said. It seems so, said Naruhiro. As Naruto glanced towards Naruhiro, making sure the man keep her like that as he turned towards the people she came with. He was gonna lay waste to them. Meanwhile, with Guren, the guards, stationed at Leader Tower, was just mere tuning. They did not put up a good fight against the Kumo ninjas. So far, they hadn't met any other cautious situation. The intel was right. This was a civilian village. Do you think Uzu keep things this way? Just to make sure the wave rely on it, one of the Kumo shinobis asked as they made their way towards the office, where their target was. Probably, another one said. The last leader met an unfortunate incident. It seems that there is always some changes in leadership. I heard that Konoha Black Ops once operated the leader of Wave and tried to extract some information from him. I don't know if they were successful, but Uzu did not make any noise about it. It's almost like they don't care about the leaders. But it isn't that simple. Well, it never is with Uzu. But at least Intel was right this time. They came to a halt as they sensed Yugito transformation. I guess they're busy on their side. We should move. They both nodded as they checked their transformation. As they were at the target door, seeing that the masks were still firm, they knocked. Come into the voice. They walked inside to see an old man sitting down behind the decks. What stopped them though was a choker signature. They felt hiding within the shadows. We know you're there, one of them said with narrowed eyes. Guren materialized from the shadows. Well, we knew that you wanted something, but to think that your target was this one. Regardless, to get to him, you have to go through me. We came prepared for that, Guren-san. Guren grinned. That is what I want to hear, she said. Meanwhile, at the bridge, don't take your eyes off your opponent, the Kumo Jonin said, as he flashed towards Naruto's fists, weaving through the air. Didn't they teach you that at the academy, your majesty? Another one said. Its sword whipping through the air to slice into Naruto's neck. As Naruto flicked a kunai towards his wrist and caught it, covered in wind, he blocked the blade as he caught the fist. If you're going to do a surprise attack, you should be silent about it, said Naruto. Two more shinobis blasted by him. They were going after Yugito to free her. Naruhiro was occupied with holding her down to do anything about it, as Naruto disappeared in the blink of an eye. The two of them were reaching out to grab Yugito, when suddenly their wrist was grabbed, shocking them. That was close, he said, as he looked towards Naruhiro, completely ignoring the two-man wrist that he was holding. You should perhaps retreat to a safe place, or this. It's going to be annoying, he said. Before Naruhiro could say anything, a lightning jutsu was launched, rushing towards his back. As Naruto gripped onto the shinobi's hand tight and threw him right into the lightning bolt, as the man couldn't do anything but get electrocuted. As Naruto lifted his left foot and slammed it into the back of the head of the man that he was holding onto, he added chakra to his feet and crushed the man into the ground. Seeing the threat neutralized, Naruhiro spoke. Or, I could just put a barrier around me, he said. That would be best, said Naruto. He noticed Yugito glaring at him. What, he said. How can you talk so normally, in a situation like this? Do you want me to shout, Naruto asked. She hardened her glare, but it did not affect him. What are you gonna do, she said. He kneeled down and ran his right hand across her cheek. Such defiance. It's amusing. I can't let them go back home. I gave them a chance. They rejected it. I was thinking of killing them all. There's a new jutsu I want to test. I think it will work best here. Do you think I should not? Why do you bother ask? You're gonna do what you want anyway, she said. You will live, said Naruto as he got to his feet. I gave them the same chance, but they rejected my offer. You also gave them a chance and they rejected it. So, they die. As Naruto didn't wait on a response, he brutally slammed his feet into the man's face below him, as the man crashed into the water. As Naruto turned a smirk, as he was about to test out the jutsu that he wanted to test. But Naruto looked up as Haku landed. He went through hand sign. Ice release. Ice goddess breath. As the ice spread from Haku and froze over the Jonins rather quickly, Haku then snapped his fingers at ice on the ground. Burst. That is some impressive work, Haku, said Naruto. His tone then turned a bit serious. But I don't remember inviting you here. Should I have just locked you in a prison cell? Forgive me, Naruto, Haku said. There were still people, and when you did not leave with your armor, I was certain that you would do something that would end up destroying the bridge. It can be rebuilt, said Naruto. Yet, you avoid fighting her because you did not want to get the bridge destroyed. Is it only fine when you're the one destroying things? As Naruto's stern gaze landed on Haku for a moment, before he twists, suppress her chakra, and bring her back. About them, said Naruhiro. Haku will be with it. It is his mess, said Naruto. Meanwhile, C wasn't happy with the situation at all. This was not a battle, it wasn't even a massacre. It was a subjugation. Well, that was rather anticlimactic, Naoki said. We should go before the Majesty find out that we left Uzo. Don't you think he already noticed, said Neri. You never know, said Naoki, and they vanished after that. C did not linger on for too long. He knew that it wasn't any kindness of leaving him unharmed and alive. No, they wanted him to be a witness to their power. He was supposed to be the one to go back and report. He was their witness. A was not going to be happy. He was going to go on a rampage after this. Uzo was devious. They left the wave open for attack because they want people to attack it. It had been their mistake and it cost them dearly. He hoped the others had succeeded because if not, they were going to have a serious problem. Most for them before, Kumo, now had a reason to invade them. Time skip. Uzo. Temari looked around with a curious look on her face. The buildings were tall, but the tallest one was that red tower. Village leaders always sat at the tallest building, so there was no doubt that Naruto was there. But she wondered if he lived there though. But she wasn't here for him at the moment. She had important things to deal with first. She was here as a representative for the San and Konoha. The village seemed peaceful though the air was fresh. Perhaps it was because this was an island. Her escort led her straight towards the tallest building without any trouble. One thing she noticed, it was a lot bigger than she thought. There was a lot of people, and it did not look poor at all. Then again, this village was led by him. When she arrived there, she thought that she would see Naruto but not him. It was the man that Zen talked about. Naruto was the emperor, and this man was the leader. Yoshino's smile seemed to look on her face. Disappointing to see me, huh? As he pointed towards the chair in front of him, she sat down quietly. I was expecting to see Naruto, she said. His Majesty. You came here for diplomatic ties with Uzo, didn't you? Temari nodded. Yes. Then you should not be disappointed. You're talking to the right person, said Yoshino. Temari looked at him curiously. According to Snappy, this man presented himself as a leader when Kakashi and Neji came here. It appears so, she said. Yoshino Uzumaki, I'm the leader of Uzo, said Yoshino as he presented himself. As Temari mocked his action, Temari Sabaku, Jonin of the Sand, a representative of both the sand and the leaf. This is rather rare. It isn't often that a village would trust another to carry out something on their behalf like this. You never know which know this. Seeing that you're with the San, Konoha doesn't think that you might screw them over to get a deal that would benefit the San even more. Yet the 5th Hokage trusts you with this mission. I have to say, you two must share a very trustful relationship that hasn't been seen in this world for a long time. Well, we have a long history and the Kages have been working for years now to make the relationship better since the invasion. That is what makes it special. Unless there's an enemy to be fought, Shinobi villages rarely work together. But you two, it seemed like you're tighter than before. So, should we get to it, he said. She nodded. Both Konoha and the San like to form an alliance with Uza, she said. Konoha is a traditional ally, and is still technically an ally of Uza. We want to reaffirm this relationship for a better tomorrow. Both villages has no problem with Uzumaki, and will be willing to back it in case a Stone and Kumo attack. Yoshino shook his head. Given the current situation, that is no longer a if. They will attack us. Is Konoha willing to offer their services? She felt a bit uncomfortable, as his eyes just looked at her, like he was searching for something. She had to be careful with the way she spoke to this man. Yes, and also is a San, she said. I find it curious, he said. But you're not the person I would talk to about this with. Perhaps if I was talking to someone from Konoha, it would do. But you're not from Konoha. So tell me, why should we make an alliance with the Hidden San, he asked. We offer protection. Protection? Yoshino laughed. Your people are under the assumption that we cannot protect ourselves. I also find the notion of Konoha offering his services quite baffling. They failed to do so last time around, and we cannot possibly trust them again. That aside, we don't need protection, he said. What else can you offer us? We were just thinking that we should be allies, the Emperor. Think of the Kazekage as his friend. Shouldn't they be allies because they're friends? In a normal world, yes. But at the moment, being allied with the San and Konoha doesn't benefit Uzu in any way. For now, we will handle our issues. To be quite frank with you, there won't be any allies until we dealt with our issues, because we don't need it and we don't want it. It will only just complicate things. You can come back after we handle our enemies. Temari narrowed her eyes. This was not going anywhere. She wasn't even expecting this kind of response. Is Konoha considered the enemy, she asked. Who knows? Has a leaf done anything against us? No. Not that I can think of. Then there's no need to worry about anything. Uzu will not do anything against the village that doesn't pick up arms against us. But those who stand in our way will be crushed. And those who attack us will be crushed. Temari frowned. The San and Konoha included, she asked. Yes, said Yoshino. If you want to speak to His Majesty, someone will escort you to the compound. If not, you will be sent to the hotel. Temari wanted to curse the man the way he deducted things. But she bit her lip, and she did not say anything about it. This man was obviously turning down everything that she said. But I would like to see him, she said. Yoshino smiled. Time skip. Throne room. She could not forget the kind of pain that he caused her with his lies. There he was sitting on his throne, in a relaxed pose. She wasn't pleased with him, and she didn't know if she could move past what he did. He allowed her to think that he was dead, when he was alive. Do you really do that to someone you love? Temari didn't think so. She wouldn't do anything like that to anyone. But he did to her, and when he came his apology, wasn't something that she truly accepted. Because if the situation was upon them once more, he would do it again. And he would just act the same way. It wouldn't trouble him that much. She sighed tiredly as she shook off her thoughts. Your Majesty, she said, as she bowed slightly. He had an amused look on his face. It doesn't feel right coming from you, Temari, he said. Well, aren't you the Majesty, she asked. I am, said Naruto. But last time I was before you, you still call me Naruto. I would be okay if you called me such. Nothing has changed the way I view you, Temari. Last time it hadn't sunk in that you were the Emperor of Uzu, and I was still mad at what you did. The pain of losing someone you love. You don't know what I feel like, but you made me feel that even when there was a choice. To spare me from the pain, said Temari in a firm tone. I see, you're still mad about that, he said. But I didn't expect things to go so easily. Admittedly, if I could just remove the instant of your pain, I would do so. Is that your solution? To make me just forget about it, she asked. You still need time to think about things. I understand that, and I will not push you. I was at fault for making you experience that pain, after all. He paused. How long do you intend to stay? I'll leave tomorrow morning, she said. Why so early? You could stay and enjoy all that Uza has to offer. I could do all I can to make sure that you enjoy your stay here. I'm afraid I didn't come here for pleasure. And your pleasure is not the one I would enjoy, she said. She wasn't going to budge. He realized that she was truly a troublesome woman. Then again, she was a strong-willed person with strong opinions. If you're like this, then Gara must be very displeased with me. He is, she said. If you weren't Naruto Uzumaki, you wouldn't have left the stand unscathed. I had a feeling that he was debating whether or not to allow me to see you. So tell me, if you didn't come here for pleasure, what reason did you come to see me, Temari? I want to see if I stood here and look at you if I'll get pissed off. And I also want to know if those words I received from Yoshino are the same that you will tell me. Most probably, he said, after a long while of just staring at her. Would you join me for dinner tonight, he asked. Probably, she said. It was nice seeing you again, your majesty. As Naruto got up and walked towards him at a slow pace. Would you allow me to walk you to your hotel? This is your village, he said, with a shrug. You don't have to be so sarcastic, he said. I don't understand how fully you were hurt, but liking you was not a lie. I'm not a man of many lies. Says the person that faked his death and lie about being the Emperor of Ozu. Well, technically I didn't lie about my death. I did die. I just did not tell people I returned from the dead. She reached towards her fan. If I hit you right now, would your people come after me? You're still violent, I see. You used to be so fun blushing and flushing. And a small burst of anger at my moments. That was before you decided to die, she shouted. I was sad. You annoyed me with your perverted comments. And being around you was fun. But then, you went and died. It was indeed fun, he said. I really hope we can pick up where we left off. Time skip, at Kumo. She was taken by Ozu, said C. What? Said A. Ozu appeared ready for us. They knew that we were coming. Even if they did not know, they were ready for anything. There wasn't even a fight. Yugito must have knew that the Emperor was strong as she transformed. But that was her undoing. The moment she transformed, Uzumaki appeared and restrained her with powerful chakra chains that even in her state that she could not break free. These chains also suppressed her chakra. Hearing about that ability, A frowned deeply. So it's true after all. We've always known that the Uzumakis possess chakra chains, and this ability is unique to them. You could say it's their bloodline, but it isn't confirmed by anyone. So you tell me that Uzumaki just released those chains, and everything was over. C realized what this meant. Kumo always boasts about the power of their Jinjulke, and yet the Uzumakis could make them not a threat. Fighting Uzu with Jinjulke was a risk. Yugito was already taken if B was taken. Yes, it wasn't a fight, the Emperor himself. He's not normal. Not to mention he's also a Jinjulke. And also the ice user we heard about. He made an appearance and freed the man. Apparently he stopped the Emperor from using the jutsu that he wanted to use. A leaned back looking thoughtful. He never thought this would happen. But now he had more than enough reason to invade Uzu. They were unlikely going to do anything to Yugito if they took her away. It wasn't a bad thing. He didn't think that she would be turned against Kumo, but still she would be needed in the war against the Hidden Stone. He could get her back. Tell me, did Naruto himself use these chains? No, said C. Well, that's not surprising, seeing that he's not a full-blown Uzumaki. Then, said A as he turned towards the other. They were waiting for us. A was silent before he nodded. Make sure the stone hear about this soon enough. They too have Jinjulkis. Once they learn about this, they will do something to protect themselves. We don't have to worry about them turning against us, because right now they don't want a war. What about Yugito? Uzu will not do anything to her. They're likely to use her as a bargaining chip. Either way, this does give us a reason to march there, but we won't do anything until the stone comes to us. We don't want to do anything that will leave us to attack, and they don't want to leave anything open as well. So for right now, we wait for the best option. Time skip. At Konoha, Naruto had no feelings, returning back to his nation again. He had departed and he would never become a shinobi once again here. Well, it was just all act in the beginning. He stopped having thoughts about becoming a great shinobi in Konoha the moment the third told him about Uzu. He could have left earlier, fooled the world a bit earlier, but this current situation was the best. As he looked down towards the village on Hokage's monument, before he closed his eyes, he vanished with a gust of wind. The gust of wind picked up a distance away from Hokage's tower. As he stood in the hateful village, Konoha was a place of hate, despite people thinking that he was peaceful, but he has never seen such hate before. Many shocked looks when they saw him, and the envoys watching him closely. Perhaps they didn't want to get too close to do anything that would displease him. If he wasn't pleased, he could leave, without answering any of their questions. There was no obligation for him to explain anything. As he slowly walked towards the tower, no one spoke to him along the way. When he arrived, he was led towards a different direction by an envoy. He didn't question it. He was here for a couple moments now. Snad must have prepared everything. He was led into what he could describe as a war room. As he looked around, he walked over to the large rectangular table and sat down. Across from Snaddy, there was also Shikaku and Jiraiya inside as well. What is the barrier for, Jiraiya? He asked calmly. We don't want anything leaking, Jiraiya said. His face was stern. Naruto was truly alive. There was no doubt that it wasn't him. He had entertained the thought he was an imposter. But this was reality. It was indeed him, and he fooled them all. I doubt anyone in eavesdrop, especially with Danzo out of the picture, said Naruto, as he smiled. He knew that Konoha had never released the details of Danzo's death to the public. People suspected, but Leaf wasn't going to say anything. Well, it was their problem, not his. Snelly slammed her face down on the table. Why? Why did you do what she said as she released her killing intent? As Naruto tilted his head, he looked towards Jiraiya. When we went to the hidden rain and you found out that Nagato's death was an exaggeration, what did I say to you? Jiraiya frowned. Something about playing dead. It's the best way to hide from people. There you have your answer, he said snappy. I was just passing by this village. I'm afraid I don't have much time to sit with you. Though given a second, you must have a lot of questions. I'm willing to entertain, but I will not answer unless necessary. I would rather avoid unnecessary trouble along the way. Naruto said Shikaku. Shikaku shook his head, a small smile on his lips. Your Majesty. When did you become Osa Emperor, he asked. Since the beginning. I see that you haven't been able to discover anything. Well, Hiruzen had always been too cautious for his own good. Then again, he was a crafty old man who moved in ways that you wouldn't think of. You're bringing up the old man. Are you saying that he knew everything? Asked Jiraiya. It was ridiculous for a sensei to know about something like that and not do anything about it. I'm not saying that. Or maybe I am, said Naruto. Shikaku would order the seat, Naruto, would not bring any answer to that subject. By your response, since the beginning, are you saying, since the rebirth of Uzu, you have been the Emperor? Most probably, said Naruto. I always disliked dealing with you Naras, because of your intellect. Having you on my back was already a problem for me. Shikaku went back to his questioning. This likely started when you went to Uzu with the third. I doubt he had anything to do with the rise of the Uzumakis. He probably didn't know anything until it was late. And when he found out, it was too late. And he was forced to make some deals with you. Going with you to Uzu in secret was a way to avoid suspicion from in and outside the village. Given how things ended, any appearance from Konoha in Uzu lands will lead to their suspicion. How accurate am I? Asked Shikaku. About, as Naruto raised a finger. Snatty shattered the table in rage. She was tired of these stupid answers that he was telling them. Listen here, Naruto, she said. You took your time here in this village, playing a Konoha shinobi for years. I believe that you owe us an explanation. What have we even done to you? Both Jiraiya and I have always tried to help you. Is this how you thank us? I really didn't come here for this nonsense. We have a reality, and doesn't matter what you say, it won't change my mind. Instead of getting emotional, you should be asking me how discussions with Temari went. I know that she hasn't arrived here yet. Seeing that she was about to explode, Jiraiya spoke. Nagato, what do you even want with him? I only want the Uzumakis to reign. Have no fears. We have nothing against the Hidden Leaf. I guess you can thank the third Hokage for that, said Naruto. Time skip. Yoshino looked around in the hidden cloud. This was the first time he was here to talk to the Raikage, but he has been here before. Well, it's the first time he was looking for survivors of the Uzumaki Clan, but he hadn't found any of them. This village was obsessed with power and bloodlines, but it did not get their hands on any Uzumakis, as he was currently being led towards Raikage's tower, flanked by two shinobis. By the time they arrived, Yoshino could see that the man was ready to attack. The office had a few shinobis and a sensor that Ryuki told him was with Yugito. Well, he was glad that he was just a clone. Otherwise, they wouldn't want him to leave this place. Well, the Emperor must have a reason for sending him here. Well, all moves were calculated. I've been trying to get one of you Uzumakis for some years now, said the Raikage in a flat tone. I didn't think that you just walk into the village like this. Circumstances forced me to be here. My name is Yoshino Uzumaki. I'm the leader of Uzu. I've been sent by His Majesty to talk about the situation with Yugito. We have nothing to talk about if you're not going to bring her back, Ace said in a stern tone. I'm afraid we're not going to do that. It's possible that she might not even live that long. Ace stood up from his chair and glared at Yoshino hardly. Are you saying that you would kill her? She attacked the Emperor. Uzu doesn't forgive that. Nor does he forget. Emperor? You mean the Kyubi Jinjulki? He's just a boy. That is your view. But for your own good, I implore you for the future to change your thinking. You really don't want to see the Majesty as a boy. You would not live long enough to regret it. The moment those words left his lips, a wave of killing intent hit him from all directions. I take that as a threat to my life, and we will not respond kindly to that. Yoshino simply shrugged. Before we step away from the reason why I'm here, please allow me to talk. There's a question I'd like to ask. What? Said A. Your attempt to get inside the wave was not something of chance. It was a planned attack. and the wave belonged to the Uzumaki Empire. We have a question. Is this a declaration of war? Does it change anything regarding Yugito? I only want to talk when I know that you'll bring her back. If not, I will lay waste to Uzu. Yoshino narrowed his eyes. Everyone felt the change of atmosphere in the room. But he did not address the threat about his village. It changes nothing really. The moment Yugito decided to challenge the Emperor, her life was forfeit. She will not be returned. Not now, not ever, we own her. And if Kumo tries anything, there will be hell to pay. Well, that does sound like a threat, said the Raikage. This makes things simple for me. You're not gonna leave this village. You're the leader of Uzu, and until we get Yugito, you will be your hostage. Yoshino laughed, predictable. I do apologize, but that will not be happening. Only an idiot will come to you, without thinking that you would turn to such methods. I shouldn't have even asked that if you're declaring war on us. We know how Kumo act. The moment Yugito was taken, we knew that we'll have a problem with you. Do what you want, but we will be ready. And we will not be forgiven. Yoshino poofed away. Where did he go? Said A as he looked towards C. C blinked as he expanded his senses. He shook his head. He should have known. These people were not stupid. He saw it with those two that sat with him. And just let him go. That was possibly a clone. One of those shadow clone jutsu that he didn't leave use. A frowned. He was not gonna let this go. But he could not forget that he had a stone to think about. And if they do learn that one of their Jinjoji has been taken, they will grow confident enough to attack them. But he could still attack Uzu without leaving Kumo open for any attack. Well, he would just have to place hands smartly, and didn't leave any mistakes. Meanwhile, at Tansukagai, as Naruto was sitting down in a bar, in the corner with a bottle of alcohol in front of him, as he hadn't touched it. What are you doing here? Naoki. The man was in a transformation, looked like a black-haired middle-aged man, but Naruto knew it was him. Why does it sound like I'm not welcome, Your Majesty? That is because you're not. I don't recall inviting you, and I recall my job to be your guard, said Naoki. In any case, I just came here to give you support. I knew that you won't need it, but I just thought it might give you some assurances. For you to be as reckless as you want to be, because I'll be watching over you. Naruto is eyebrow. What kind of recklessness are you talking about, Naoki? Well, you know, last time you got her drunk, and you end up taking her to her place. This time, you don't have to be concerned. You can drink along with her, without being concerned if your drink are poison or not. It will be fine if you get drunk as well, and end up bringing her to her place. I'll be watching to make sure nothing dangerous is done to you. It seems the prey has arrived, said Naoki. I thought I was a prey in this situation, said Naruto. Sarcasm doesn't do you any justice, Majesty, said Naoki as he got to his feet. As Naruto turned to see Kurosaki walking towards him with a smile that seemed rather nervous, but he didn't mind as he pointed towards the seat that Naoki had vacated. You have certainly become even more beautiful than the last time I saw you, friend. Kurosaki looked at him. He has changed. He looked more manly, and there was his aura around him. Friend. Last time I checked, friends don't lie to each other, she said. Naruto raised his eyebrow. I lied to you, he said. You didn't tell me that you were Uzu Emperor, she said in a snappish tone. I don't remember lying. I just did not tell you about it, he said. You seem to struggle with that, but did you really expect me to spill the beans about everything I do and who I am? So he was going to give her that kind of excuse. Well, she wasn't here for that. She was here to kill him. He was open. But she would not take the chance right here. Not right now. You misled me, she said. Yes, I did do that. I have misled a couple of people in this life of mine. I certainly do not indulge certain people certain things. Well, I err on my part, even though I know otherwise. That sounded a little personal, she said. So you wanted to see me, said Naruto. I assume it has to do about my status, and how would that affect the hidden stone? You have always put your village above everything, I am sure. That hasn't changed. But tell me, did you cry upon my death, he asked. Your position is the reason I call you, she said, as she ignored the last part. But when you spoke about friendship, I know. You wanted something, so tell me, what do you want from me? I don't want anything from you. She blinked and looked at him. What? Is there something you can offer me, he asked. She never expected that. She raised her right hand as she gave off the signal. Perhaps there is nothing. But Uzu and the stone has not been allies, and given her a pass. There is some animosity between the villages. Yes, the past does make up for it. Given that the hidden stone was a part of the groups that destroyed my village, despite there being no reason to do so. What would you do if that was you? You assured me back then that you would kill me if I was the enemy of the stone. Shouldn't I think the same way and do the same thing? Well, I would expect nothing else from a shinobi, she said, with indifference. We always want to protect what is ours. If you threaten my village, you must be dealt with, naturally. If you feel threatened by us, you will try to crush us. So it's a world where the strong get what they want, said Naruto. As she nodded, a couple of bottles came over, as he did not waste time getting the drinking contest. She wanted to get drunk. She took a bottle and took a sip. What about our friendship, she asked. You offered that once when you know how things would end up. Does your offer still stand? If we could work out something between us, we can save life. In a situation where Uzu and the stone has to fight, I know my village views yours as a threat for what happened in the past, but our friendship could change that. As Naruto took a large gulp before slamming the bottle down as it cracked slightly. Then, let's talk about our friendship. Time skip. 5 hours later, it was already late as Kurosako was helping Naruto towards a hotel that she booked for herself. He had no problem with gulping down alcohol. She had built up her tolerance since the last time, but she wasn't going to have a competition with him because he could outdrink her same way. After arriving in the room, she placed him on bed. He shifted slightly, his eyes barely open. She looked at him for a moment, he looked out of it, and he reeked of alcohol. She didn't thought that she could opportunity so easily. She was gonna get this done, she was gonna kill him. Her grandfather would be proud. She sat on him as she ran her hand over his face. Harmless. But she had to end the Emperor of Uzu. This was for the sake of her village. As she pulled a kunai with poison. She did not stab him immediately though. She looked at his face. As she placed the kunai to the side, there was something she had to do first. As she leaned closer, she didn't like this part. As she pressed her lips against his. As he moved into the motion. As she brought the kunai up, she was gonna nick him in the neck. The poison would do the rest. It didn't have to be deep. As she moved it closer, her hand was grabbed, shocking her. As her eyes looked up towards his. As she moved back slightly. You really plan to kill me? She jumped away, but she left her kunai behind. As Naruto got up, I knew this was her plan and play along. For mere convenience. You tricked me to thinking that you were drunk, she spat. Not particularly. I could have snuck alone to drink for me, but I chose to drink. Because it was more interesting that way. That aside, I need to catch you in the act. So I would have no guilt over what is going to happen to you, he said. He knew that she wanted to kill him, but he came here the same way. She was dealing with a dangerous person here. She stepped back. What do you mean, what will happen to me? You will find out eventually. Naoki, he said. She felt someone flash behind her before she could move. She was enveloped in chains. The person behind her, she was afraid of him. Because this person felt like he would just kill her in a second without thinking. You bastard, she said. My grandfather will not be pleased with this. If you don't let me go, he will destroy your village. It is rather interesting when a rat is back in a corner. It loves to scream its threats. But don't worry, I expect Oniki to attack, and he will surely die. Perhaps not in the first engagement, but he will surely die. A realization dawned on her. Before she could say anything though, a hand slipped over her mouth, giving a tension on her body. It seems like she has discovered our purposes, Your Majesty, said Naoki. Irrelevant. He placed his hand on her shoulder. They all vanished in a flash, as he appeared in the throne room. Take her to meet her new friend. And call Yoshino for me. At once, said Naoki. 30 minutes later, Naoki appeared. Is it done? Naruto nodded. We have to require pieces we need to get both Kumo and the stone to make their move. History will start to favor us. They attack us. We had all reasons to capture them. Bullies cannot do as they want without punishment. He said with a smile. Our world has a history of only remembering the winners, said Yoshino. That is because they are the ones who write history. In this world and the next, the Uzumakis will be the one to write it. Take the ship and head to the stone to deliver the message. Yes, Your Majesty, said Yoshino. Oh, there's a certain visitor from Konoha who wishes to see you. Who? Said Naruto. Shikamaru Nara. Given his curious mind, I had planned to send him back without talking to him. But given that he's here because of his own free will, I hope he would want to talk to him. Perhaps he has his suspicion on certain things, and he would like to confirm it though. I will indulge him, said Naruto. Yoshino nodded as he vanished away. As it took a couple of minutes for Shikamaru to arrive, as he had a look, that look of troublesome on his face. I was surprised when I heard that you were here to see me. We got along with each other, but we were not friends. That is because you avoided me, said Shikamaru. Then tell me, how might I be of service? I know that you're busy, and what is going on there certainly much for you to do. However, I do know there will be major changes to the Shinobu world very soon. I know there will be battle soon, and it will be that way because the Uzumakis want it to happen. The state of Shinobu world determine just how safe Konoha is, and your duty is Konoha. You people think in a fundamentally wrong way. That is why you continue to do the wrong. You always think about your village before everything and disregard the evil that you do to others. I will admit, the Shinobu world is flawed, but we all think about what we love first before doing anything. Yet that does not excuse putting others in danger, because we want to protect what we love. Perhaps, said Naruto. So tell me, how can I help you? I'm surprised that you're here, you, who always think that things are too troublesome. I was speaking to my father about you and the Uzumaki. The one question I had was, why you had nothing against Konoha? Any rational person would ask this question. You should have reasons to resent Konoha, and I would understand those reasons. But you would still try to stop me from doing something. Shikamaru smiled. There was no question there. He was a Konoha shinobi and he could not let someone just destroy it. The Uzumaki your child would. You have every reason, but you tell Konoha that you had nothing against it. Why? It would have been reasonable if I told him I hated it, right? But at the same time, it would have made me an enemy of the elite. Generally, I don't think you have a problem with that, Shikamaru said. But I also think that you don't want to face all great nations because you don't think that your nation would survive. Even if you do, I doubt this village will remain standing. Even so, the reason I came here because I saw what's about to happen. Even if you said you have nothing against us, you won't hesitate to turn towards us if we stand in your way. Of course, said Naruto. I have watched you since the academy days. My father understands the situation way better than we, Jiraiya, and Tsunade seem to grasp it. We are both aware of the danger. It's my understanding that you probably made an agreement to the third Hokage. I think that is the reason why you won't attack the leaf. But there is a condition. The fact that you were able to hold something, an agreement with the third, that he couldn't get away from, means you have a frightening mind. I don't have that kind of genius, said Naruto. I was actually afraid of the old man. So tell me, what does your father want? I assume that he's the reason why you're here. My father believed that you're not going to talk to Jiraiya or Tsunade because of how close they were to you. So he sent me here to form a communication line with Konoha. We want to understand your goals and find a way that we can coexist with the war. Of course, when I get back to Konoha, we will discuss things with the 5th Hokage. Oh, you want to play politics? But you already said that you know what's going to happen. So there's no need for me to say anything. Just go back. You know when the right time to talk. When that happens, I will indulge you. I have your word. Yes, you have my word. It will be most pleasant if you can work with Temari, he said. Meanwhile, at the Hidden Stone, Oniki could not laugh. Despite knowing that Kumo had lost their Jinjoke, he had managed to gain that information, but he could not laugh. He could do nothing about it because the cursed village has struck the cloud, has also struck his. His beloved granddaughter was gone. His eyes snapped up when the Uzumaki was brought before him. He was planning on burning that village down to the ground if she was killed, and burying every single Uzumaki. And here was one of them coming in front of him. The man was being manhandled, and yet he looked rather bored. It was not the indifferent look that Naruto had. This look that this Uzumaki had just pissed you off to no end. I've been waiting for one of you, said Oniki. My apologies. I had other matters to handle before coming here, said Yoshino. Oniki calmed himself, as he really wanted to turn the man to dust right now. I see that you brought your airship, but that isn't of concern to me right now. I imagine that you're most concerned about your granddaughter. Oniki nodded. If I don't get her back, just know that Uso, or anything concerning Uso, is not safe until I get her back, because if I don't, I will raise it to hell. We don't take kindly to threats, said Yoshino in a dangerous tone. Kurosaki may or may not be alive. She attempted to kill our emperor. Such an offense is punishable by death. If you want her to live, you will die in her place. Oniki laughed as he got up. Give me one reason not to kill you now. Uso has your granddaughter, and we're not afraid to snap her neck, said Yoshino. We will not give her back. She has become a property of Uso, and the emperor will decide whether she lives or whether she dies. If you want to fight over it, you're welcome to do so. So you're no longer hiding the fact that you want war. Well, Uso will be destroyed. You've already pissed off the cloud. You will face your end. Well, I won't complain either way. I pity you, said Yoshino. You have so much experience in it. You remain full of yourself. Are you really the same person that made this village enter a ceasefire with Konoha in the previous war? You underestimate us, and you will pay for it with your life. Yoshino poofed away. So it's war then, said Oniki. But how was he gonna go about it? Kumo would surely want to take part in this. Uso had taken their Jinjoke. If the Sona attacked, they would take the Jinjoke for themselves. He had to speak to the Raikage about this. They will have to make a plan about dealing with the Uso first. Yes, there will be indeed a war. Meanwhile, at the village, Kurosaki had blood all over her body, as a few bruises were everywhere all over her. That sadistic woman had beaten the crap out of her. They said that more was to come, but she kept her mouth shut. She would not say anything about her village. She was thrown into a cell with another woman there. It was a Jinjulki of Kumo, but she wasn't roughed up. She was completely fine. She looked towards the woman before looking at her hands. How did things end up this way? She was about to kill him and now she was in a cell. The first thing she did when she got out, she was gonna mutilate that woman. Because she knew her grandfather would come for her. It's useless to think about escaping, said Yugito. What's that supposed to mean? It means, unless they let you out, you can't leave. Your chakra is sealed, but you can still use your senses. She searched her senses. She frowned. What is this place? Because she could not feel anything else, except for this woman. As Yugito shrugged and closed her eyes, she couldn't curse this woman right here because she can be useful for her escape. How long have you been here? More than a week. What did you do to them? Asked Yugito. Well, I tried to kill the emperor. What did? She stopped when she sensed something as Naruto opened the locked bars and stepped in. He just appeared out of nowhere. Good day, my prisoners, he said with a smile. Kurosaki launched towards him that punch. He caught her fist with ease before slamming a fist into her gut. She wheezed and coughed as she dropped to her knees. As he walked over to Yugito and sat down. I do apologize for not coming to you after you were brought here. Things has been a little bit busy. I can see that, said Yugito. As she looked towards Kurosaki. Ah, her, said Naruto. She requested a meeting with me, and then she tried to kill me. But I'll be honest, I planned for this stabbing. I did not plan anything for you. But when you appeared, I could not just let you be. It doesn't explain why she was tortured. Tortured? No, my dear, said Naruto. She hasn't been tortured, she was just roughed up a bit, to see if she can experience pain. Kurosaki froze at that. But she crawled away. You can do whatever you want, I won't tell you a damn thing. You are mistaken. Pain is not a way to get you to talk. If we want you to talk, you will talk. Gorin is just a bit sadistic, who enjoys seeing people in pain. And I permit it because you get to live. Normally, everyone that tried to kill me, die. How fortunate I am that I get to keep my life, she said, in a sarcastic tone. She's an angry bitter woman, isn't she, said Naruto. Yugito could not figure him out. He was the emperor and yet he was here sitting down with her. She was tortured and you just told her there would be worse. She tried to kill me, said Naruto. And that should make her feel comfortable? He shook his head. It should make her feel grateful that she won't get to experience a bit of pain. I did not do anything bad to her and yet she sat with her grandfather and decided I should be killed. You will still die. My grandfather will not let this go. Until I am brought back in this village is destroyed. This world is just wrong, he said. But then again, I've been able to move around because it's flawed. So I can't complain. For nothing, she scoffed. You just admit that you planned for things to happen like this. You can't blame us if your plan do not succeed. You misunderstand me. I may have planned for this, but I did not manipulate you into doing anything. It was your choice in nature that led you to do this decision. Kurosaki glared at the blonde. She did. It for our village. For the best interest of our village. You're not gonna let me go, she said. Not now at least, said Naruto. You just have to suffer a bit more before we decide what must be done to you. We have already spoken your villages. They have already declared war. He then turned to Yugito. I actually came here to see if you have been here for. She raised an eyebrow. Why do you care? I'm here because of your orders. I don't hate you, said Naruto. My visit to Kumo was fruitful. And you're a fellow Jinjoke. And I don't mean for you to suffer. Then you already have. If I didn't think that you tried to escape, I would have let you live normally. Perhaps that is something for the near future, as he stood up. Why am I being locked up then? It is quite simple, said Naruto. I just need to make sure that Kumo is slightly weakened. And I want you to become a Kunoichi of Ozu. As for you, as he addressed Kurosaki, once your grandfather is dead, and the Hidden Stone is conquered, you might be freed. Well, things could change, and you might join Oniki in death. She spat, but she was very much aware that he held her life in his hand. To think you wanted to become my friend, she said. Naruto laughed. Aren't you the one that called me to talk about friendship, then tried to kill me? To tell the truth, if you had not tried to kill me, I would have left you alone. We would have just talked and then go our separate ways. I find that hard to believe given all that you have said. As Naruto shrugged, decisions were made when I met you. You would destroy anything that is a threat to the Hidden Stone, and betray any friendship, stab anyone in the back. I should still thank Jiraiya for letting us meet up, he said that smirked. As he left. But guys, be in episode right here. If you want the next person to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on the bell notifications as posted. But I'm out for now, see you guys soon. Peace.